Hmm. Hello, hello, hello. What happened to the chips?
Shit. Man, because you feel forgot to eat your other chips. I'm sorry.
Uh, it could be better. Hello, Jamarius. I'm waiting on Tirza. She wanted to come in and talk today, so I have to wait and see what she wants to talk about. Uh, that is subject to opinion, if you ask me. Some people believe that, others don't. Quite frankly, I think Tony Khan could take a step back and, like learn a thing or two from a couple people that work for him. But, that's just me. At least I would. I would, listen to my counterparts and kind of structure my company so that it would be around within the next, 5 to 10 years, you know. But that's just me. So what else? I have no idea what Tirza wanted to come in and talk about, so I'm waiting on her. But Fastlane is March 21st, and it's supposed to stream on both the WWE Network and Peacock. So if you still have the WWE Network, you most definitely can utilize it for the month, and y'all can go ahead and still watch the pay-per-view via the WWE Network. You sound down today, whatever is going on. I hope it gets better. Yeah, I'm okay. Not the best, but I'm okay. Okay, so Naomi versus Lana versus Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler versus and at WrestleMania and Raquel and Dakota. I mean, I guess so. Sure, that's what they want to do. I mean, it's totally up to them. I mean, you're gonna watch it anyway. So I'm just not that match that they set for Fastlane with Bianca and Sasha and all of them. I just don't really care because it was an unnecessary match. I get it. It's kind of like a rematch for them. It's like, ooh, they get to have a rematch or whatever. But the rematch is coming after you've already given, you've already announced who Bianca's going to go up against. So it's very obvious that they're not going to, drop these titles to Sasha and Bianca. And it's obvious they're using this to build on a feud for them. It's lazy booking, if you ask me. It's extremely lazy and unnecessary, and I'm just not. I'm over it. So I just genuinely don't care enough to pay attention to it, and that's just real talk. Not even trying to be funny, just 100% real. I genuinely just don't care enough about it because it's not going to result in anything. If they get the titles, I'll be fucking shocked. Like, dead ass, I'll be shocked. Oh, there's Tirza. I'm going to let you in a second, Tirza, as soon as my stuff lets me. Oh, there we go. Okay. Tirza's here. Hold on a second. I'm going to put some of these comments in here. Sasha and Bianca get another shot. When Lana and Naomi are number one contenders. Dakota got screwed, but Sasha and Bianca get a title shot. Like I said, it just doesn't it doesn't really matter. They're not gonna win anything. This doesn't negate what Naomi and Lana have already won. Shayna and Nia have defended the titles plenty of times after Naomi and Lana have won the right to go up against them. So as far as I'm concerned, it doesn't matter. It just doesn't. Hold on a second. Go back to the comments. Okay. Not to mention the Royal Rumble winner and SmackDown Women's Champ finished up for a loss heading into WrestleMania. Yeah, bye. I'll pass. Honestly, losing is not that bad. It's not that big of a deal. It's Fastlane. Simplest explanation is it's Fastlane. Usually, Fastlane is meant to end a feud that isn't heading to WrestleMania, but because there weren't that many, they have to set up feuds to head into WrestleMania. Okay, that's the. Oh, all right. All right. So, Tirza, what did you want to talk about?
Oh, hey. I was just waiting. I was just waiting for you to finish. But yeah, I came in on the back end of the conversation about this, and I saw it on Instagram, like the picture of them, and my first thought was, again. And then I'm just like, they put them in a match, so this can like somewhat start their feud, and I'm just like, okay. um is it lazy booking? Yeah.
Yeah.
Am I gonna watch? Yeah.
Yeah, because,
Like, I'm not gonna lie and be like, oh, this is whack, I'm over it. No, because I'm gonna watch it. So it's just it is what it is,
that's
right?
just how I feel about it. I don't have.
But I just I wanted to come on here and just kind of like open up the conversation to other people if they want to like chime in, like that's perfectly fine. But I was just yesterday I was just on Twitter, and WWE posted their picture about Bobby Lashley as the
Mhm.
champion. And I don't normally read or look at the comments underneath pictures. But I clicked on it and I just scrolled down and just was reading the comments, and it just really made me really upset. And I'm just like, are we still at the point, like, is this where we still are as a people, as a country, that it is such an anomaly that a person of color is a title holder?
Well, were the
And
comments positive or were they like?
no, just the comments, like someone said, oh God, another black person is champion, and he shouldn't be
What?
champion. Yes, yep, he shouldn't be champion because he's black. Brock is better. We want Brock. This is bullshit. Blah blah blah. And despite how we all feel about him, for one, I wasn't particularly thrilled that he was champion.
Right.
But outside of kayfabe, I can
I respect it.
completely respect the fact that it took him 17 years to become champion, and he's the third African American
Yeah.
out of the company's 60 something year history.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of Brock, and I'm just like, him and Brock have very similar parallels in regards to the careers. Like they both started out as a wrestler. They both left to do MMA. Had they both have success in UFC. Um, but it's okay for Brock to come back after being away doing 8 years and
Mm-hmm.
automatically be in the title picture, because as soon as he came back, he took that belt from John Cena.
Yeah.
And he's had the belt several times after that. As opposed to Bobby, he comes back and he's put in a bullshit storyline with Leo Rush,
Mm-hmm.
another bullshit storyline with Lana,
Mm-hmm.
and it wasn't until he got with the Hurt Business that he was able to get some sort of a footing. But it's an issue now that he's champion, and it just really made me sad.
Well,
And it's like trolls are trolls, and haters, they're gonna say they are they they are gonna say whatever they want to say. I just was really taken aback by the comments, and like it wasn't like a bunch of positive comments and then like two bad comments. It was like one after the other, after the other, after the other, after the other, after the other. And I was just like, wow. Wow.
I
Wow.
honestly am not surprised.
Um and it's not even me being surprised. It's just really disheartening, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, why is it okay and acceptable for one person, but it's not it's not for the other? It's just it just made me super sad.
Well,
And I was like, it shouldn't. It's wrestling. Wrestling fans
it was worse
are
for
gonna be wrestling fans, and it was worse for Kofi.
yeah.
You
They were
know,
horrible to him.
I remember the first time he fought Randy, he was getting booed out the building,
Yep.
and I was like, really though,
Mm-hmm.
really though.
This industry
So
is
I
overwhelmingly
wanted to just open up the conversation, and just because I was like, am I the only person who finds this like baffling? Am I being like over dramatic?
no,
Like, am I being in my feelings? Like, I'm
no,
just like, really though? Like, is this still where we are? Like,
yes,
you know what I mean?
yes. You ask that question every day.
Yeah,
Um, it's harder for us to understand it because we black and we have to deal with it every day. So
yeah,
it's like you think, okay, I watch wrestling and I'll finally be able to just kind of let my guard down a little bit.
yeah,
You can't. You can't even do that. Watching TV, you can't even do that. It's a constant battle every day.
yeah,
The reality of it is, despite my personal feelings about Bobby Lashley's character, I don't have I have no ill will towards him being champion. And in fact, I'm happy that he was able to be the third African American to be champion. I don't hate Bobby Lashley as a person.
yeah,
I generally don't really hate anybody. I'm just not entertained by him in that regard. So it doesn't mean that I don't respect what he's capable of or what he's done. And I understand the historical implications of it, which is why when everybody asks me, well, Tiffany, we know you don't like Bobby Lashley, so how you feel about him being champion? Despite how I feel, I understand and respect how he got there and his accomplishment. I mean, I would be a fool to sit here and be like, oh well, him being the third African American champion don't mean shit to me. No, that means a lot because there's
Yep.
only three of them.
Yep.
And they've been in business for 50 plus years. And the only time that you thought to me, and it took you almost all 50 of them to be progressive enough to have two champions within the last 5 years that
Yeah.
happened to be African American. The last and the first was The Rock.
Yep.
So you have to be understanding. And I am understanding. Be honest, I was very indifferent when he won. I was just like, well, I don't really care one way or another that he's champion, but I'm glad that he was able to make history. I'm glad that the champion is black and everything is it looks like diversity is leading forward. But you have to understand, not everybody is like us.
Yeah.
So you're gonna get you're gonna get those incel inbreed snow roach
Snow. Snow
snow
roach.
roach people who just a hot in the ass and in their feelings because the person they perceive to be great isn't champion. Oh, if you white, you gotta be right.
Yeah.
And that shit is just not cool. And I don't when they had Shinsuke up there about to possibly be champion, they talked about him. He can't
Mhm.
speak English. They do it to Asuka now. She can't even speak English.
Mhm.
Nobody wants to talk about Naomi and how Naomi sets the internet on fire every time she comes out there. She's in every magazine, every blog. Bianca too.
Yep.
Bianca everywhere. And you can say a lot of things about Sasha Banks too, but the reality is Sasha didn't garner the attention that those women have.
Yep.
So when you looking at it, I'm like, okay, what's marketable? I'm a business person. I'm running WWE. My first instinct is, oh, look, these girls are really pushing the narrative forward. They pulled the trigger on Bianca, but they kind of taking their time with Naomi. They didn't
Yeah.
capitalize on her when she came back, and they very well could have, unless Naomi had got injured, which we all know she had left to go have her own personal things dealt with.
Yeah.
If she hadn't have
She
done
got
that,
I think
yeah,
she had gotten surgery. I think it was some sort of. It wasn't like.
it was female related.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I was like, she
Yeah.
would handle her own stuff, and that's fine. But if she hadn't have done that, y'all had her in a storyline with Lacey Evans and got mad because Lacey Evans didn't win the karaoke contest.
Yeah.
So we are like, okay, well, you regressing. And then you got Naomi being the one to do the shit. It don't look right.
Yeah.
When you go into the program with the men, most of the roster is white to begin with. So it ain't like we got a lot to choose from. And then you get mad because you're like, it's the same black people. Well, those are the only black people that are there. There's not
Yeah.
a lot of Hispanic dudes there. And then you go into other nationalities, like, you go into Native Americans, you go into Pakistani, Punjabi, and all the other nationalities that exist across this world. There's not a lot of representation for a lot of people.
Yeah.
So, and we just at the cusp of it. It goes down deeper than that. And we just now starting to get our just due. Just imagine how everybody else feels. You know what I'm saying? It's not gonna be sunshines and roses when it comes to stuff like that. And when Bianca come become champion, expect the same ugliness and rhetoric because it is coming. Only it's gonna be worse because she's a black woman.
I guess it's just maybe it's just me and just the way I was raised. I'm I'm thankful that like I was raised in such a liberal household. Um, my mom didn't force like church on us, religion on us. So I was exposed to so many different things, gays, like so many different cultures, and I just feel like I just will never understand why they just. I guess I will just never understand why they think that like we need to be oppressed
I can give you an
so
idea.
they can be. I just never understood it.
When you think
Like,
about Charlottesville, and you look at how they stormed Charlottesville, and was the chant is what got me. It
yeah,
wasn't really the action. It was the chant. They said, "You will not replace us."
yeah,
Is a fear. That is not them hating us. They're afraid of us. And the problem is they realize that the world is closing, the gap is closing, minorities are expanding, and they aren't. The races are mixing, and everybody is, becoming we are the world. And a lot of white people, I'm just gonna put it out there, whether you like it or not, a lot of white people don't like that.
yeah,
And there's some black people that don't like it either. That's just
yeah,
the truth. Black
yeah,
people, Latinos don't like mixing race either. Some
yep,
Asian races don't like mixing race. Now you have it where some millennials and some people that have come after our generation, they're a little bit more open to it. I was raised in a Christian household, but my
hmm
father was progressive. My father and my mother didn't teach me to shun people because they were white or black or because they were gay or straight. My father's uncle was gay his whole life. He was gay, and I met him a couple times. He lived in Florida, and I went to go see him. And I remember seeing him because he was laying in the bed, and he had a whole pressing curl. And I was like, I was like, where did this pressing curl from? Who did it? And I walked in the house at first when I first met him, and I introduced myself, and he said, "I know exactly who you are. You look just like your father." He said, "I could spot you in a crowd." And he was just as feminine as he wanted to be. Hands was always pristine. Feet was done. I was like, I want to be like my uncle when I get older. I mean, he was just, and he always had a keen sense of style. He was just a very, he was just a very staunch man, and he was gay though, and I knew that. My father was well aware of that, but he loved him just as.
yeah,
And so when he goes to church, he go to Black Baptist church, and they preach the Bible to the letter, but they pick and choose which parts to follow. And that's the
yeah,
part that my father didn't. He never taught us that. My father was like, even though the Bible does says this, he said the Bible also teaches us to love, and we have to be loving towards each other. We cannot cast each other aside and treat each other like trash just because you see it in this Bible. He said the Bible is also written by man. And there could be things in this Bible that are not supposed to be here. We don't know. So we have to practice discernment.
yeah,
Discernment, you have to be a little bit more you have to be human first of all, and understand that people have feelings. I don't understand how you can genuinely go on the internet and tell somebody that they're calling them all types of racial slurs and look somebody in their face and actually say that and mean it with such conviction when you wouldn't want someone to attack you or tease you for something that you can't control. Like me and
yeah,
Tirza, we can't control what color we are.
yeah,
We are who we are. And we ain't trying to do nothing more than what you doing. We all running the same race. All
yeah.
of us. So
You
Bobby
know
Lashley's
what
been
gets me
there
too?
17 years. 17 years. And he finally gets to be champion. The first thing a fan can say is they don't want a black man as champion. Why? Because if you ask me, he fit the criteria. All
Yep.
y'all want is a man who's champion. He's overly muscular, severely mad and dominant all the time.
Hmm.
He never loses. And he's got a manager that talks a bunch of trash for him. That's the blueprint for y'all champion.
Yep.
That is a carbon copy of Brock Lesnar. I don't understand what the difference is.
You know what also gets me when I hear like white people say, "Oh, like we need to start like having these conversations so we can all better understand." And I'm like, I get that, but like on the other side of that, I'm like, it's not common sense to you to not be racist. Like it's not like, okay, I shouldn't say this because it's offensive. Like it's not common sense.
No,
You know what I'm saying?
because it's
Like
not taught
you
in their
can't.
house. It's not taught in their house. They,
You know what I mean?
yeah, because they're raised. Look, what I've learned in this lifetime is that most of the time, certain behaviors are taught. They are learned behaviors. Children are imprints. They soak up what they are given. So
Yeah.
if you're raised in a house where you don't hear nothing but people talking about black people in a derogatory way to develop a stereotype or a stigma against them, that it may or may not be true. All black people don't fit into the box.
Yeah.
All of us don't
Because
stop and listen to hip hop music
yeah,
and eat fried chicken and love watermelon and
I
don't eat
remember
no
like even when
crab
I was
and
in
crab.
even when I was in elementary school and even some junior high school, like I went to, of course, a predominantly black and Hispanic school. And I remember like sixth grade and up, I remember at the time Britney Spears was like super popular.
Yeah,
And I love Britney. And I remember I used to like sing her songs and talk about her music, blah blah blah. And this one girl said to me, "Do you like that white people music?"
I
And
love
I
pop
was
music.
like, and I was like, "Yeah, why?" And I was, "Oh, because Britney's white and she don't belong in our neighborhood." And I'm like,
Girl, bye.
"She's not from our neighborhood, and I can listen to her because I like her." So like even that, I was just like, "Wow!" Like, oh, skin folk and kinfolk,
No, they're not.
and they, you know, look at look at Kanye sometimes, or like, or Candace Owens, or Velveteen Dream, or Booker
Candace,
T.
oh, Jesus Christ.
You
Look,
know what I mean?
some aspects of what Candace say makes sense.
No.
How black people thinking for themselves and not being sheep. I can understand that. Where she loses me is when she started talking about being a Republican. And I'm like, but you you are now negating what you're talking about by telling everybody to be a Republican instead of being a Democrat. Republicans don't think for themselves either. They
No.
was popular to get them reelected.
Yeah.
Like any other politician. And for the most part, they've been in control. And you wonder why shit is fucked up. Because nobody wants to listen to each other. Everybody wants to have total control. The thing is, when I was in
Yeah.
school, I listened to all types of music, but that came from my father and my mom.
Yeah.
My mom and my dad listened
My
to
mom too.
a
Yeah.
lot of music. It wasn't just black music. My father got records in here where it's jazz, it's country. He's got pop music over here. It's all kind of shit, bluegrass. My father
Yeah.
got all kind of shit over here, and I just be like, okay, well, if you, I can listen to other stuff. Sometimes you get in the mood, you want to listen to jazz. Sometimes you get in the mood, you listen to classical. Sometimes you get in the mood. I listen to country music in a minute. Okay, I love to be some Rascal Flats. Fuck you if you don't.
Oh, me
Okay,
too. Oh, me too.
Rascal Flats. I like Carrie
Rascal
Underwood.
Flatts and Leanne Rhymes. And
Yes,
yes,
and
me
I like
too.
me some Reba McEntire. I mess with
Me
Reba.
too.
Okay, I do Leanne
I
Womack.
do too.
I like them all. I will listen to
And
it as
Leanne
long as.
Rhymes. I love Leanne Rhymes.
Yes. I was like, yes, honey, give me all of it. Give me all your paint. And I like Florida Georgia Line. And I like what is it, Lady Antebellum, Sugarland, I think. But there's
I'm like that.
country
I
artists that
like the old school country. Like I love Shania Twain,
are
um, Dolly Parton, like that real like
good.
old school country. You know,
Yeah.
even some of like Strout and stuff I like.
All right. Good night. Bye, Tay Tay.
Oh,
I like a lot of different music, and I
he's
tend
so cute.
to
He's
I
so
tend to
cute.
focus on I just like music that I like. So I listen to, and R&B is where I live. That's just my comfort. So I listen to that often. But I deviate when I get in the mood. I'll deviate. Sometimes I'll be listening. My husband will come upstairs. He like, how you go from Maroon 5 to Linkin Park
Yes.
to Carrie Underwood?
Yes.
Tiffany, what is going on with this playlist? I'm like, don't do it.
I have a cooking playlist that I play like when I'm cooking, and it goes everywhere from like 90s R&B,
There you go.
90s hip hop to disco to country to like it's all over the place. And I remember my mother was like, "What the hell?" I was like, "I'm cooking. This gets me hyped and like in the mood." And
we not all carbon copies where we just sit up and listen to rap music all day. Don't get me wrong.
no,
I vibes with a good rap song. Okay, you give me some Kendrick Lamar and some J. Cole.
Yep.
And I got you.
Yep.
And I might dibble and dabble in some of this mumble rap. It really depends. Cause some of them be doing too much. But I do like hip hop. That we birthed hip hop. Of course I like hip hop. Of course I listen to hip hop. But I'm not gonna listen to rap music all day long. I can't. Okay? And it just
depends.
We
If
just
it's like Kendrick, if it's like Kendrick or like 90s hip hop or like 2000s, I am with it all day. Like all day.
Now, one thing I did
this
when
new
I was
stuff now,
no, I can't vibe with it all. I gotta pick it. Like sometimes you need some hype music where you need to go fight. them the hoes you go call. Them when you call, you go get Asian dog. Asian dog got a song called None of That. And I'm like, yes, that's the music you listen to when you about to go fight. Like, I don't give a fuck about none of that shit. I'm like, me neither. Let's go. That's how you get hyped. Or you gonna work it out. That's a workout song because you straight up gonna get hyped listening to that. But I'll sit on Sunday. I was raised where my mother and father would get up in the morning and gospel music would play. So that's what I like listening to on Sundays. That's my mellow out time. Now, I ain't been to church in about it's been a minute. I ain't been to church in a while. You know, I get called stupid a lot, but I'm just saying. I ain't been to church in a minute. Don't make me no less of a God-fearing child. It just means I ain't been up in the worship house in a minute. Okay, I go to Bedside Baptist on Sundays. Okay, I get up, I say my prayers. I'm about my business.
That's hilarious. Not Bedside Baptist.
No, we're not all. We're not all in this.
They should praise it, honey. They should praise the Lord.
Yeah, and then we all wrestling fans, and being black and being a wrestling fan is not okay. Okay, they already attacking us because we watch wrestling and we black. Yeah, it's crazy to me because my husband, his cousins sometimes they'll be like, "Tiff, what you doing?" And I'm like, "Yo, I'm watching wrestling." He's like, "You still watch wrestling?" I'm like, "My nigga, yes, but it's fake though." And I'm like, "Okay." When I go to a show, I will buy you.
That's another thing. I hate that word fake.
Yeah.
I can't stand it.
When you go to the show, and if you ain't never been to a show, then you'll never understand. Okay? But when you go to a show and you sit close enough to, and it's usually pretty quiet in the arena unless something crazy happens, right? So people are watching, you'll hear a little murmuring or whatever, but for the most part, it's a pretty mellow situation unless you like in Madison Square Garden where it's always hype.
Oh, yeah.
It's always bumping there.
Always.
They're in Chicago. Chicago and Madison Square Garden always got some shit going. They always hype. But when I was at Fastlane and we were at the arena, for the most part, it was fairly quiet.
Really?
Yeah, it wasn't like screaming fans everywhere until like the Shield came out there and Ronda came out there. But like during that fatal 4-way match where R-Truth was in it and Rey Mysterio was in it, like while they were wrestling, it wasn't a lot of noise going on. So
no, it's funny. It doesn't read like that on TV.
No, it just
At
looks
all.
like everything is just pure chaos.
Yeah.
But when I was there, it wasn't like that. And
Wow.
I came down the steps and they just sitting there, everybody's sitting there having a good time. If something would happen, it would make noise, but it wasn't like a full on, like, yeah, it wasn't like that. That's
wow.
It wasn't like that. It was just, okay, well, they having a good time. So what I want y'all to understand is when you go to a show and you hear the sound of that ring when they hit the mat, that sound is unforgettable. You'll never forget that sound. So you'll never
trust me. It feels even worse.
It don't feel too good either. So you'll never ever say that it's fake when you hear something like that, ever.
And that bugs me out when people say that. Like it bugs me out. It just does. Like, i.e., Soldier Boy.
Yeah.
Like, why are you trying to like?
It's baffling to me that and it's because matches are predetermined, but also
that doesn't make it fake.
It doesn't mean that what they're doing is not real, but that's how people determine it. Oh, they practice their matches. It's scripted. They're not really getting injured. I'm like, okay, you get your ass in there and you run.
Which they do practice to a certain extent, but even the most rehearsed person, anything can happen.
Facts, because
anything can happen.
It's human.
Yeah.
Like it's human error is what occurs. But yeah, it's crazy to me. And I told my cousins the last time, I was like, well, you know what? Next time I decide to go, I'm probably gonna go to a live show. When they start doing live shows, I'm gonna take y'all with me. Cause I don't think y'all really understand, because y'all haven't heard it. Now Jiraiya's been in like 3.
Oh, I've been to dozens over the years.
I'm like,
when
your cousins get some time, we're gonna take them. They need to buy a ticket. They need to go because they need to hear it. Because they don't really right off understand.
Yeah,
and I'm like, you're in the ring. This is mat. This is wood. You're hitting wood. Oh, these people are doing this every week. And I think Randy Orton made it. He made the best explanation of it. He was like, we're like actors and stuntmen who do
their own stunts.
Yep. And I was like, that is a perfect representation of what y'all do. And y'all doing this on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
Most actors and stuntmen are contracted for a movie for maybe 6 months at a time, and then they get months off. Mm-hmm. They're not out there jumping off of fucking trees and boats and shit, filming the next Jackie Chan movie. So
weekly.
They're not doing that for 2 years, 3 years, 5 years straight.
Yeah.
No, they're not doing that. The trauma that people are put through in wrestling is comparable to a fucking car crash.
Yeah.
So it's disrespectful.
It is.
Stuff like that, because people could come back at you and be like, well, what you do ain't really rap.
Yep.
I mean, but hell, look at Kevin Nash as a prime example. That man was crippled because of the shit that he was doing. Luger is paralyzed from the waist down.
Yeah, and Drago. What about Daga? When he got injured during that brawl for all.
Right.
They don't think about
Hulk Hogan got 2 metal knees and 2 metal hips.
They don't
all from wrestling.
They don't think about none of that.
Over time, that shit takes its toll.
They don't think about it, and when they say stuff, they just talk outside of their neck. So my thing is that's why I was very much against Bow Wow coming in, because I'm like, you have no idea. Like, you've gone to a show, true enough, so you've heard and you can see what's happening here, but you have no idea what you're getting yourself into. You're not gonna last. You're not going to pass. And they always refer back to Ronda Rousey and they go, oh, well, she ran. I'm like, no, Ronda made a choice to go have kids and actually be able to enjoy being with her husband. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
And when people don't realize she's been fighting at some capacity since she was
16.
Yes.
16. That's over half her life.
Girl was doing judo in the Olympics, winning medals and shit. Then you go to MMA where that shit ain't nothing fake about that.
Right.
I'm just saying, y'all, sometimes people are just, because they don't have to experience it and it don't directly affect them.
Right.
They're so removed from it that they have no respect.
Yes.
And I think just because it's sports entertainment doesn't mean you just have to be nonchalant about it.
Right.
You can have respect for the sport. Because if a nigga was talking about basketball, it'd be a fucking riot.
Yeah.
Okay. If I was talking about NBA 2K, y'all be down my throat. Because I tell you right now, I could give less than $2 about NBA 2K. If I could,
I don't even know. I don't even know what that is.
Girl, it's a basketball game, and every nigga in the world that actually play video games, so your man is not included.
Oh, it's a video game.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh.
That's why everybody's like, girl, I need my new PS5. Oh, and let me get a kick so I can get a PS5.
Yeah, my man grew out of that video game phase years ago, thank God. Thank God. Because I saw how like people were going ape shit over that PS5, and I was like, thank God you don't play video games. I was like, thank God.
He just waited until Best Buy told him to buy it and went to go. Fucking dick.
I was like, thank God. Thank God he doesn't like video games anymore.
Every black man in the world that has decided to not play video games, all of them niggas play video games.
Because like I'm sure that's the only thing he would have wanted for Christmas. And I'd have been like,
you've been hard pressed to get that thing for Christmas, girl.
$500 machine is what that was.
Out there doing something like a piece of change for real.
I was like,
thank God. Thank God.
I said, it's okay. I said, we all have our strengths. Everybody in the world, we all have our strengths.
Like, I'm not knocking it. It's just, I was like, $500 is a lot of money.
It's a lot.
I love you.
Money he spent in our house, so I didn't care. They gave us a stimulus. I said, I'm gonna do my shit. I said, do you, baby?
Stimulate the economy. That's what I did.
Because my stimulus came in the account. It was still $600 in there. So I said, you can do what you want to do with that. Just don't touch mine. Okay? Don't touch mine. That's all.
We're supposed to be getting a third one at some point.
Yeah. They're trying to push for it.
They're supposed to be giving us a stimulus, but Joe Biden had to compromise and make the cap at 80,000 instead of 150,000.
That's crazy.
So some people who might be out of a job or were out of a job during the pandemic might not get the stimulus. But I have if you file taxes now, your stimulus will be based on how you filed. So me and AJ filed taxes this year. So the stimulus is going to be based off of this year's taxes, not last year's.
Okay.
So if you file now, your stimulus will be based off of last year. And if most people got fired midways or early days in the pandemic, then you should still qualify because you didn't make $80,000 last year.
Oh, yeah, no. I for sure did not.
Yeah, Kaylee Ray retained her title.
Yeah, I was actually watching that match, and man, it was Lord mercy.
They always go brutal. I didn't get the chance to watch.
I cringe. I was like, oh God.
What, the Dragon Off match? I don't know. Did you watch Dragon Off and Walter's match when they had theirs?
No, I caught it in time for the women.
It was some. Well, Walter and Dragunov's match was last year.
He said bitches were selling
PS5. Yeah, yeah, they were though. It was last year, but it was
selling
brutal.
food stamps. Selling food stamps for what?
I seen girls sell food stamps for weave.
Really?
Hair extensions.
Oh yeah, you get somebody.
I've seen girls sell food stamps for hair extensions.
Yeah.
Yes, I have. These girls are
really.
Yes.
Spend what they need off the card and then get a card to the person and tell them it's $150 left. It's for a bundle.
Listen, I like my groceries, man. I have to figure something else out. Like,
girl,
what?
you do your own hair at this rate. Everybody and they be selling their weave, they be selling their grocery, they the card come, they take the little person, they take the person out to the store, they get to buy their crab legs and steak, and then they pay them when they get in the car. Girl. I'm telling you.
That is so good.
I'm telling you. They're getting lobster tails and shit.
Right.
Got a whole Valentine's Day dinner.
Right.
That is so
girl. She's like, girl, I gotta go get this new weave. Like, here go this $150 so you can pay for your installment.
Right.
That is so hood, not crab legs.
You know, always crab legs.
Oh, that is so funny. Wow. That's wow.
She's not gonna take the title off EO, and Toni Storm ain't gonna take the title off of EO either.
No, she ain't. She bet not.
I'm not
like her and all, but
right now, I don't like her. There's nothing against her personally, but I just don't like her. And I'm like, I'd rather
that's how
Mercedes.
That's how I felt about Dakota Kai. I was like,
I don't like Dakota at all. I've never.
And like I saw a clip of their match from last night at the beginning, like when they were doing the introductions. She looked petrified.
Yeah, she did.
I was like, oh, look at her face. She looks so scared.
You be scared too if somebody broke your arm and you gotta face them again.
Yeah.
Like, first of all, I break your ass. You break my arm, it's over. We fight. Damn.
Yeah.
Man. I'm gonna have to be scared later. Shit. You already broke my damn arm, so let's go. But no.
Yeah, I was like, damn.
All this stuff with Lashley is expected. I never expected it to be, he won a championship and everybody would be happy with it. I knew that it was going to be some shit about it later. I was just waiting for somebody to say something. And usually it happens on Twitter or it'll happen under the comments on Instagram. And it's just like, despite my personal feelings of him, I would never say no shit like that. And I say a lot of shit.
Yeah, but the thing is, I feel like it's expected if it's like one or two comments, but it was like
all of them.
Yeah.
I'm not.
And I was just like, really though? I was like,
Kobe became champion, and they went in. It was like God came down and told everybody that everybody in the world had to be black, and they didn't like that.
And they really went in when he took the title to his like home country.
Yeah.
Oh,
he was a king.
You know what?
I was like,
I'm not surprised by that because I seen LeBron posted pictures on his Twitter about screenshots of the new Space Jam. You know, just giving everybody little snippets of what the uniform looked like.
Is the uniform dope?
I think the uniform dope.
All right.
And then it was a picture of him sitting on the bench, and Tweety was next to him. Now the Looney Tunes
Space Jam.
The movie? You've never seen Space Jam?
The movie?
They remaking it with LeBron.
Oh, okay.
So LeBron posted those pics on his Twitter page.
Yeah.
The first comment I see was somebody saying, "I hope you covered up your tattoos during filming, because there's kids who are going to be watching this movie, and the last thing they need to see is somebody with tattoos trying to be some tattooed thug being a hero. You only can be one or the other.
Microaggression, number one. That
Right.
is
But why
microaggression.
he gotta be a thug?
Cause he black and he got
Black.
tattoos.
So
Like
somebody
white
put-
people don't have to. Oh my
someone
god.
put in the comments was like, so what about David Beckham? You say the same thing about him?
No.
And then a person go try to flip it was like, well, I don't even let my kids watch the Bend It Like Beckham movie because his name was in it.
You a damn lie.
That's some bullshit. Get out of here.
Somebody hit him with the dagger.
You know you was watching his fine ass. That's a fine ass white boy, right? I don't like the way he sound when he talk, but he fine.
Somebody hit him with the dagger. Was like, so LeBron's a thug because he has tattoos.
What about Birdman?
Been playing in the NBA since 2003. Never had any trouble off the court. Dude was like, hell, I don't even think LeBron got ejected in a game because of technicals.
No, he
but
never
that's
has.
Not the point. You have a white athlete, i.e. Ben Roethlisberger, who has no tattoos, but was brought up on sexual assault charges back in 2006 and 2007.
Amen.
And no one says a word.
Amen.
But that's somebody you want your kids to look up to. But
Hello.
because LeBron has tats, he's a thug. My man was silent after that.
Of course. I told you what it was. It's a microaggression.
He was microaggression.
But Tirza talking about people who went full on aggression.
Yeah.
They didn't go micro.
But I'm
they
just saying, but I'm not surprised
Yeah.
by the microaggression or aggression period. It's like they did the same thing with Kofi. I expected it when Bobby became. I expected the same thing would have happened when Bobby became champion, and I'm pretty sure it did.
I wouldn't say that because white people who look like punk rockers, they're marginalized too, but they're not as marginalized as black people. I don't play oppression Olympics, but I do recognize that people who have a lot of tattoos or they have an avant-garde look will be seen and ostracized and not seen as normal.
Right.
They will be put in that other box, but they still will be treated like somebody of prominence, whereas somebody like me, if my husband walks outside and he black with tattoos all over his arm and all up his neck, he's immediately looked at as somebody who's a troublemaker.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And he would probably die more likely than a white punk rocker would going up against the police. Just the fact.
Yeah.
So,
and the only thing missing was the N-word in those comments.
At this point, they might as well just say
it then. Hell.
Right. You know?
You might as well just say it.
And it's just, I remember a time, my boyfriend, he works for his uncle's extermination business. And on Mondays, they do this like route in Long Island. Mm-hmm. And the neighborhood that they go to is predominantly white. It's these like big houses, blah, blah, blah. So I remember he always like calls me on the way home. So his cousin was driving and he was in the passenger seat. And we're talking. And then I hear like cop sirens in the back.
Oh, God.
And I'm like, what is that? And he's like, oh, that's the cops. They are telling us to pull over. And I'm like, for what? and he was like, I don't know. And he's like, babe, I'll call you back. And I'm like, no. Like,
he's freaking out.
No. And I'm calling him and he's not picking up. I'm calling him and he's not picking up. And I'm sorry.
It's okay. I understand.
That was the most nerve-wracking 20 minutes of my entire life because I felt completely helpless.
Right.
It's like I'm so far away. I don't know what to do. I don't know if I was like, I don't know what to do. Like shit, I call his mom. His mom's a lawyer. Like I don't know what to do. And I'm sitting there and I'm calling him and he's not picking up the phone. And I'm just like, oh my God. And I was just like, please pick up. And like so he calls me and I'm like, what happened? And they gave them a speeding ticket.
And
I'm like, for what though? And he was like, they made us like get out the car, and I'm like, oh my god, and I just sobbed, and I was like, see, this is the type of anxiety that we as Black people have to go through, and it's not fair.
No, it's not.
Not fair.
But
and I just,
yesterday,
I was just.
Jared went to the store. He went to go pick up some things for my dad, and then he went to go get himself some dinner, and he left, and it was like 7:15, and he left out the house. It was still semi-daylight outside, so I was sitting there and I'm waiting because AEW was getting ready to come on. I had to watch that, and I was like trying to get to NXT because I really wanted to see.
You didn't have to.
Tag match.
Okay.
Yeah. I really wanted to see the women's tag match on NXT, so I was like, okay, I'm trying to watch this. AJ is gone. It's been an hour. An hour goes by. He doesn't call. So I'm like, where is he at? What is he doing? I call him. He doesn't answer. I'm like, okay, maybe he's in the store. Sometimes in the store, he doesn't get a signal. But I called him like repetitively, like back to back. I called him 7 times.
Yeah.
He didn't answer. So I got scared, and I'm calling. I called him on Instagram. He didn't answer. I called him on Facebook. He did not answer. And I was freaking out. Then my mom calls me, and she's like, where is AJ? I'm like, Mama, I don't know. I can't get in touch with him. And she's like, Tiffany, I called him twice. He didn't answer his phone. I'm like, Ma, I don't know where he is. I'm trying to keep myself calm because I don't know where he is. I don't know what has happened. I'm like, we live in Euclid. And she's like, calm down. Yeah. You know, he'll call. He'll be back. My husband didn't walk through the door until like 9-something.
Where the hell were you?
And I was like, I called and I said, Gerard, what are you doing? I'm at the store. I just got out the store. I had to get some pull-ups for Logan, and I had to get some things from the store, and I had to wait like 30 minutes.
Yeah, I had to wait 30
for
minutes,
our food.
30 minutes for my food. Went in the grocery store to go get the pull-ups was literally across the street from where I got my food from. Went in the grocery store, had to wait another 30 minutes in the grocery store because they only had one register open.
But it takes
my God,
45 minutes to get from there. So I'm sitting here and I'm like, Gerard, I'm like, I've called you 7 times. And he's like, babe, I didn't hear my phone. My phone was in my pocket, but I didn't hear it ring till I got in the car. And I'm like, I called you 7 times. I was livid because I was mad at him, one, for not answering his phone, but I was
happy that he's okay.
Yeah, I was scared because he didn't answer. And I'm like, that's not like him. He will answer when I call. Or if he knows I call him twice, he will call me back.
Yep.
But he didn't do that, so I freaked out. And I was about to start crying. And my mom's like, Tiff, it's going to be okay. She was like, he probably just at the store. And you know, sometimes when we go in the store, the signal is bad. I'm like, I know, Mom, but it's been a whole hour.
Right.
It's coming up on almost 2 hours. Like, where is he? And she like, don't freak out. I'm like, Ma.
Yeah.
And I was just like, okay, Tiff, you got to calm down. And then he comes in the door and he was like, what? I'm like,
I've been like, what do
you mean what? I'm like, I was scared. I thought something had happened to you. He was like, oh, babe, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make you scared like that. I didn't hear my phone, but it probably didn't ring in the store. And I'm like, oh, God.
Yeah.
It's a real fear. I don't think people really understand because you'll be in a car and the moment the police come up behind you.
Yep. It's like panic mode.
The instant anxiety.
Yep.
And it's just like, you can't, everybody wants to tell us to just get over stuff. I'm like, that is traumatic. You see people that look like us being gunned down in the street, and then you see how they treat us.
Yeah.
Like we're not supposed to be here.
Yep.
Then we do stuff like we say we want to have our own businesses and we want to support our own businesses and have our own thing. You redline us and red tape us so we can't do that. So we have to always keep coming back to you. Yep. Or you'll come in and steal all our shit.
Mm-hmm.
And charge like $5,000 a head at your shit. You know, we send
actually saw something
and rice because we got to. And then you go to the damn restaurant downtown where you got fine dining, and guess what they serve?
Soul food.
greasy ass oxtails on a bed of rice, and it's standing up like a little disc, and everybody's happy, and you paying $110 for awful, because that's what it is. It's awful.
Sprinkle a little parsley on it for garnish.
Right. Sprinkle the crack on them. Get the hell out of here. But you literally are eating, like, they'll eat innards, sweetbreads, liver. That's all the shit the slaves had to eat. Chitlin, crackling. All of a sudden, crackling is an expensive commodity. I remember a time where you can buy that little piece of skin and fat from the butcher and not pay next to that.
But it's crackling.
Girl.
I don't know what that is.
Crackling is like pork rinds, but it has meat on it.
Yeah.
It's meat.
Oh.
So
I like pork rinds. I love those.
Like crackling, because crackling has meat. It actually has pieces of meat in it. So when you fry it, instead of frying just the skin, because pork rinds is literally just fried skin. So crackling is just, it is literally like frying pork belly, very thin fried pork belly.
That sounds so tasty right now.
Well, I don't know if they have it in New York. They should.
I'm sure they do. Probably Brooklyn.
Bodegas.
Yeah. Ooh. But yeah, like they were talking about, I forget where, but they had like a panel of people, and they were talking about how Kendall Jenner came out with a tequila line.
Yes.
And she called it like 818.
Yeah.
Which is the Calabasas like zip code or something like that. And the guy was like, oh, like, we need to stop like calling people out, but like appropriating, like, and he just said something just really ass backwards and like asinine. And he was like, if I wanted to go flip pizzas in Sicily, does that mean I'm appropriating the culture?
That dude that Erica Cobb be on the show with.
I think so.
So
hold on a second.
He just was going way overboard with it. I understood where he was trying to go, but he was thinking in terms of her, because he was thinking in terms of her selling the tequila. And I'm like, no. But the Jenners and the Kardashians have a very long history of appropriating other people's cultures and then taking it, repackaging it, and reselling it. They did it with the Tupac and Biggie t-shirts. Yep. They got attacked for that. Yep. They did it with the wigs and the hair and all this shit that they're doing now with their bodies. Kim is selling body shapers. Yep. And with these skins. And I'm like,
streetwear.
Right. And I'm like, the black girls, there's a lady that had the corner on the market on waist trainers in Atlanta. Y'all call her all types of names. Waist trainers. She had Spanx. She had all that stuff. And she was a trans black woman. Okay. She had a big ass billboard in Atlanta. I think she still got it up there. But they call her all types of names and dogged her the fuck out. But Kim get to do it. And as long as she was inclusive, everybody was happy. No.
Yep. Yeah. No. And the thing is, she is selling like streetwear. And I'm like, there are no mean streets. There are no mean streets of Calabasas.
Ain't there.
So where do you get off selling streetwear? And just because you are married to a black man that chose to dress you up in biker shorts and tennis shoes, it don't make you a part of the struggle.
Absolutely not. Now, the woman was trying to get people out of prison. So I
don't give a damn if she dug up Jesus.
She don't care. I give you props when props are due. Okay.
You have to, but you still have to acknowledge, like, hey, like, I got this from this. I was inspired by this, and they don't do that. And that's the issue.
I'm talking about when you talk about fashion, that's another place where they cultural appropriate as well.
All the
When you
time.
look at how they do their runway, like they had that whole lace front thing. They had the models walking around with lace front wigs, braided lace front wigs on, and these was white models. So and it was a white designer. He was just like, "Oh, I just thought that this was just, fashionable. I love the way it looked." I'm like, "So why you ain't just get black people and have them braid their hair?"
Yep.
Or when you had white people walking around with faux locks and faux dreads in their head, like you literally, like Marc Jacobs did it.
But that goes back to the time like where like a white woman had braids in the 70s and they called them Boderics.
Yeah,
And I'm like,
them braids.
no.
She was the first white woman to wear those kind of plaits.
Even like the two braids on the side, they were trying to call them something. And I
Boxer
remember
braids.
boxer braids. And I remember I was watching Wendy and some white gay stylist was like on the show, like, oh, because he said, and I quote, the Kardashians make everything trendy. So that's why people are wearing them. And I was like, sir, Harriet Tubman had those when she was freeing slaves.
Period. And they don't make things trendy. They find
Like,
what's popping on Instagram.
And when he was like, no, they don't. And when he was like, no, they don't.
And all the girls is on Instagram wearing whole lace wigs with all of the
color wigs
and stuff. And they went and did the same thing. So they're not making nothing popping. They just appropriating what's already popular. They make it so that it's accessible for the girls of their culture.
Yep.
True. But we already doing it. So you're a late boomer, my G. Like, get it together.
And when he said that, Wendy's face was like, no, they don't. I was like, what?
I missed no words.
I was like, he really said that?
Yeah. That's how they feel, because they rich and they're popular. And I'm like, the reality is Kim got popping because she had sex on camera with Ray J.
Yep.
And y'all the ones who made her
dick.
Was y'all the ones who made her into a martyr? Wasn't me. And I didn't give her a damn TV show and have her on
didn't either.
for 10 years. So it ain't got nothing to do with me.
Me either.
Okay? I don't have nothing Kim Kardashian in my house because that ain't my bag. I don't want to look like her. Don't want to talk like her. I remember when the woman looked like Jafar. So,
oh my God.
Got a whole new face. Her sister Wayne got a whole new face. Chloe Wayne got a whole new lower body.
She's a whole nother person.
I'm just like, Jesus. Like, everybody used to love Chloe. And then she just flipped the script. I'm like, Lamar started taking crack and bitches gonna just lose their whole life.
Yeah.
Like, damn.
But Chloe is stupid as hell.
Then you start
after that whole Jordan thing, I was like, nah, bro. Nope.
She did her wrong. And
she can have several seats. No.
I said this on this
whole thing.
She did that girl wrong, but Jordan got the last laugh because she got her a basketball player too.
Yep.
Carl Anthony Towns is showering little mama with all kind of gifts and presents.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, what kind of voodoo coochie you got? This thing got all the damn. He bought her hella shoes.
Yeah, he did.
Hella shoes, a whole bouquet of roses. I said, God damn. I said, what am I doing wrong? Do I need to do the double grip 2000?
You ain't doing nothing wrong. You have a good man. You're not doing nothing wrong.
I said, hell no. I'm just playing.
And here Chloe is fawning after a dude that cheated on her 3 times.
Yeah, Tristan Thompson. They probably gonna be back together soon. The same nigga that she was yelling and screaming at Jordan about.
Yep.
He put hard eyes underneath her picture. She turned into a puddle of Huda Beauty foundation and eyelashes.
And she pulled and she pulls that whole boy. He's my daughter's like father and blah blah blah. And
Meanwhile, his other baby mama just collected her check.
Right.
Ain't got nothing to do with it.
Nope.
Ain't said a word about the woman. Ain't never talked about Tristan. Ain't never talked about Chloe. She ain't never said a word. She like, I'm gonna have my baby and he gonna pay for it and I'm gonna be done with it. And I don't blame her.
Nope.
I don't blame her.
And I knew Chloe was sketchy when she started dating French Montana at the exact same time he was with Trina, and then going to sit there and lie about it.
And did it on her show.
Yep.
Called French, and French was like, no, I wasn't with Trina. I'm like, he's a nigga. He gonna lie.
Yes.
He gonna lie. He was with that woman.
Yes, he was.
They were together. I'm like, she was at the party when Diddy used to have them party. That party, I think there was a party a couple years back. She was there with him. Yep. I remember seeing the pictures because Diddy posted this Instagram, and I'm like, you were supposed to be her friend.
And the crazy part is, Larsa was dating Tristan before she was.
They just pass around dates. It's just
yeah. And Larsa even said because she's not involved in the family anymore. So she is still like being very delicate in what she says. But she said that she was dating Tristan and she brought him over to the house and she introduced him to everybody. And then a week later, he was seen with Chloe.
I'm not surprised.
I was like,
that's what happened with James Harden. I mean, she was dating French, stopped dating him, and then was she dating French first or James Harden first?
I can't remember.
But she was messing with Trey Songz.
Ew.
Stopped messing with Trey. Got with James Harden.
Mm-hmm.
Was running around with James. I don't know why.
Or French first. French and then James.
French first and then it was
she was still with James when Lamar was in a coma.
Right. So she stopped messing with French. I guess they decided to mutually break up. Or he told her they weren't together.
Right.
She started messing with James, which probably the same thing happened with him. Because she was all crying and messed up on her show about him. And then she got with Tristan and was claiming she was in love. And they were getting ready to go. Tristan was playing on the team at the time. They was getting ready to go to the playoffs. And when they would come in the locker, she would come in the locker room with the cameras. The team didn't like that shit.
All the LeBron in the locker room. Oh shit! Here go the shit show. Here go the shit show.
They didn't like that shit at all. They had told him that those cameras were banned from the locker room. They could not come in there. And when she would come and sit courtside, and they would lose, she got booed.
They blame her. Yep.
They booed the shit out of her, baby. I'm like, Cleveland is real superstitious. They don't
look
like
what they did. Look what they did to Chris Humphries. After he and Kim separated, he couldn't even play a game without being booed.
And they blamed it on him.
Yep.
He didn't want to get a job. I said it was a lockout. They had,
and it was her fault. It was her fault.
He wasn't sitting at home doing nothing for nothing. This was about them getting their livelihood so they can have the money they want. I got that. I seen that. I'm like, why would you say that? And then she said that to the world.
Yep.
On national television. I'm like, what did I say about you? You was with him for 72 days. You nasty trick.
And she only dated him for 6 months. And then she had this elaborate wedding. I think she wanted the wedding, but not the marriage.
Girl, you could have just had a wedding to yourself.
Right.
Trisha Paytas did it. Shit. And people paid money to watch it. You could have just married yourself.
So did Maya, the singer.
I didn't know that.
Yep. She had like a whole ceremony. A dress and everything. Yep.
She said
it's called like something.
Not on the wall, Trey Songz. Yes, like Trey Songz. They already accusing him of doing nasty shit to girls too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it ain't nobody that sing R&B just nice. Everybody that sing R&B is nasty.
Or just don't date anybody in the industry.
Oh, they can't help that. And you know what's
I
funny?
wouldn't.
Drake is an interesting human being because I genuinely think Drake was a nerd before he became a rapper. Because there just ain't no way. There just ain't no way. Because the way he operate and how he move is like when he first got in the industry, I think he was just enthralled with the fact that women were attracted to him.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that in his youth he was considered a nice looking dude. So
He kind of wasn't.
Well, I used to watch Degrassi. Homeboy
so
didn't
did I.
know how to get a lineup. So, I wouldn't mind the fro. The fro was cool, but your hairline, I was like, baby, it's all over the place.
He was wheelchair Jimmy. I was like, oh my God.
By then, when he got in the wheel, by the time he got shot, he had already started getting his hair cut and lining it up and stuff, because he was tall. He's 6 something. He's a big guy. So I was like,
hold on one second. Oh shit. I'm sorry. They're the Real World, they're
bringing it back.
First season. Yes, and it's on Paramount Plus, and my sister just downloaded it for me. I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah, he was on this. I used to watch the girls all the time. But no, and then they be talking about Drake, and they talk about how he would sleep with girls and he just wasn't using no condom. And it was just...
That's nasty.
Just raw dogging.
I don't even do that with my man.
And all of these girls are coming out saying the same thing, that he don't like wearing condoms. And I'm like, something about this is true. And I just feel like it stemmed from him not having that experience as a kid. And I am not as a kid, but a young adult. And then think about...
I mean, you can still be promiscuous and protect yourself.
Mm-mm. That ain't what I heard. I'm telling you, allegedly.
Diseases and...
Or somebody come in my neck. Allegedly. All of them, all them Instagram thoughts, girls that he used to talk to and rap with, like some of them girls did get pregnant. And he told them that they had to get an abortion, get them money to get abortions. But that last woman he slept with, the girl from France that was a porn star, no ma'am, she had that baby. That little baby came out with blonde hair and blue eyes, and I was like, who is this Caucasus baby? Whose baby is this? They was like, oh, that's Drake baby. I'm like, oh, his son ain't got no black there at all. He just a little white baby. I said, okay. We know the man is biracial, so.
And didn't he hide it for a while?
Yeah, and Pusha T busted him because they was having a rap beef, and Drake decided to bring up Pusha T's fiance, and Pusha T went and was like, all's fair in love and war, bro. And he went in. He told everybody about him doing black.
He should have just sat there and ate his food.
Pusha T ate his ass alive. You ain't hear from Drake for 2 months. He popped up dead ass. Am I lying? He popped up on the shop with it was the first, it was the second or the first episode with LeBron and them.
I want to say that was the first season.
It was in the first season, but I think it was the first or second episode.
No, it was a couple episodes in.
It was a couple episodes in. Mm-hmm. Well, he was sitting up there talking, and he was just like, "You brought up my son. He brought up his friend Shabib. He has MS, so he brought it up. He brought that up, and when I say Pusha T went in, he went in. He made it so Drake couldn't come for him ever. Oh, that was cute." So Drake is on the shop, but he did what every typical, how can I put it? He did the crying game, the victim game.
Yeah.
oh well, this is rap. Don't bring people in it that don't do the game. But you didn't have no problem bringing up this man's wife. He was getting ready to marry
Right.
this woman. You didn't have no problem bringing her up. So all is fair. You did it. And then he accused Kanye of telling everybody about his son. But it wasn't Kanye that did it. It was his man. It was Shabib who did it. That dude was talking to some girl. The girl was they was pillow talking after they had sex, and the girl went back to the camp because she was only messing with him to get a few racks. Right. So she was like, I'm gonna go get this dude, get a few racks from this dude. Got the racks. He telling her all the Drake business. There's a bunch of stuff that Pusha T know that Drake still don't know that he know. Bunch of stuff. So
that sounds. Oh,
it's
man.
messy.
That is a lot.
He said, Kanye said that to me. He said, your man's told you, old girl, and she came back to the camp because one of my people messed with her. And she was telling us everything. That's how I knew about your son. And I'm like, you need to be mad at your
like a lot.
Like, your man is out here squealing on you. That's what I'm like, this is a nerd.
That's intense.
You listen to his music, and you're like, this don't sound like even when you listen to J. Cole, right? And you listen to Kendrick Lamar or Big Sean, those dudes have a sense of confidence in their music, right? Even in the songs that's about heartbreak or the songs that's about their first time or something like that.
Yeah, and Draco singing ass. Right?
Yeah, like there's a certain air of confidence from them. I don't get that with Drake. Like, I remember on his first album, he was just like, I don't think I'm ever going to get married because girls don't understand me. And then he kept, like, there's that line repeats itself in just about every album he has. He finds a way to bring it back. And he'll keep saying stuff like, I think because of the industry, I'm always going to be alone or something like that. I'm like, boy, are you hurt? Are you okay?
Do you know where he shot himself in the foot? Is when Rihanna was getting the Michael Jackson Video Vanguard Award at the VMAs, and she like presented it to her, and he was just like expressing his love for her.
Yes,
in a way that she looked uncomfortable. Like she was like, "I like you, but not together. Like we may hook up every now and then, but like her face was like, oh God." And I was like, oh my God.
She was very uncomfortable.
Oh, that was so crazy.
And then she didn't hug him after that.
No.
You know, she just kind of shooed him off the stage.
So creepy.
Damn. I was like, oh.
But like, he went in like, oh my God.
She's my life, man.
I'm loving her. I was like, what?
Oh, you got simp.
And she's like, what? And she was like, it was awkward. I was like, this is awkward. This is awkward.
Like, ooh, honey. Don't do it on national TV. You should have waited till you got home and you could go to her house and like tell her. That way, if she let you down, you know, at least everybody didn't see it. We all saw that curve.
Yeah, not in front of like millions of people.
He said he tried to
not
kiss
in front
her.
Of millions of people.
Curved his ass. Yes, she did. She did curve. It was bad.
Yep.
It was so bad. Drake released a 25-track album with only 2 songs that were semi-decent.
Yikes.
Ooh. You know, I didn't like what was it, Scorpion? Was that the album that he came out with last? Scorpion? Is that the name of it?
I have no idea.
It's got that song. He only had 2 songs on there that I liked. That's that one song where everybody was playing it over and over again. It was Nice for What? God, it's 3. God's Plan, Nice for What? And then he had another song. I think it's called In My Feelings. Kiki.
Do you know what I mean? You never.
Scorpion was his last.
That's the last album.
Oh
because
wow.
Records was just a compilation of all the singles that he made before the album dropped and never actually made the album.
Yeah. But I like Drake stuff before all of the dual albums. I hated that album he did with
I mean, cute doodle. Sorry.
Duels, the double disc.
Sorry.
I didn't like the album he did with Future. Because I don't like
If you're
Future.
reading this too late.
No, that was his album. It's an album with a diamond like on the cover. I don't think If You're Reading This Is Too Late was a
What a Time to Be Alive.
It's What a Time to Be Alive. That was the dual album. I don't really like the album with Chris Brown and Young Thug. I only like one song off that. It's that Get Crazy song, and I pretty much ignored Young Thug's part in that whole song.
Side note, and this is like totally random. Don't eat that chicken sandwich, just the spicy chicken sandwich from McDonald's. That shit is trash.
I don't even eat chicken sandwiches from nowhere but Popeyes.
I had it today because I wanted to try it. That was new, and I'm like, ooh, new, but that shit tastes like they put mac sauce with like hot sauce.
Ew.
Really, yeah, it's not good.
Nasty.
It's not good at all.
Oh, gross.
I just hate the fries. You know,
She said, I just hate the fries.
I just hate the fries.
Nasty.
I couldn't check it. I was like, what the is this?
I haven't eaten McDonald's for a while.
We need to keep the streak on.
I don't want to eat McDonald's. It feels like a
I
rock.
have cravings sometimes. And today was a craving.
Yeah.
And I was like, ooh, new sandwich? I was like, oh, okay.
She said, ooh. Gotta go get that high tea.
Liza Minnelli. Liza Minnelli.
She said, that's upsetting.
I was so mad. I was like, oh, hell no. Nah. Because I've had the Popeyes chicken sandwich, and that shit smack. But
the fish sandwich good too.
The McDonald's shit, I was like, what is this? Nope. No, ma'am. I was like, oh, hell no. So I just ate the fries in peace.
Okay, let me tell y'all something.
Uh-oh.
For all y'all who keep trying to come in my neck because I don't care for Peyton Royce, and
I don't care for her either.
I would prefer her to be in the back somewhere.
Did y'all even talk about Peyton Royce tonight?
No.
We talked about what Tirza wanted to talk about.
Okay, my bad.
For all y'all coming at my neck on Instagram because it will give me these long ass diatribe messages about Peyton Royce. It don't matter what you say, it's not gonna change my mind until that woman get in the ring and prove. And I said that with all the conviction I got and prove that she can hang with the best of them, then my opinion about her will continue to be the same.
Mm-hmm.
Now, since y'all want to go and bring it up, because okay, let me put it out there, because somebody put on me and said, and I quote, I disagree. Left my ass off. They didn't even let them shine during that tag title run. It was so bad. They were given zero opportunity to show what they could do. The one real chance that she got to perform well by herself was in Survivor Series, and she killed it. You know, good and well, she has had chances, just like tons of the women on the roster, since they want to use the same girls over and again. What real chances has she had? Since you brought it up,
but who brought up Peyton Royce tonight?
First of all, Peyton Royce won the tag team champions at
WrestleMania.
She didn't win it on Raw or SmackDown in some one-off match. She won it in a fatal four-way match with some of the best wrestlers on the roster. Her and Billy. Mm-hmm. Now, I'll give you this. No, they didn't give them a title run, but the bitches will come out there and wrestle people who weren't even on the roster.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't.
They just some jobbers.
Mm-hmm. They didn't have a showing against them.
Nope.
Y'all want to come at my neck when I'm talking about Peyton because she didn't have to show her. And then you tell me, oh, well, that's their fault. It's how they're booking her. No, ma'am, Pam. I'm sorry. What? Well, I want to try my cake, so can we just put it upstairs in the room? And just take that. You talking about
room for this?
Put it in the room.
Well,
And you talking about Peyton,
anybody?
and you
Peyton
talking
Royce.
about Billy Kay and Peyton were a team. True enough. Them wrestling as a team, they were not that good of a team wrestling.
Nope. Mm-mm.
They're not like the greatest wrestlers of all time.
No, they're not.
So let's just
Not even close.
get out the way. And when you're talking about Peyton, Peyton had many opportunities to prove that she could wrestle. Y'all always want to talk about, oh, they don't give people opportunities. When they book you to go out there and wrestle, that's your opportunity. Do you not understand that? It's not crazy to think that maybe this is a way to get your foot in the door. Stone Cold said it all the time. He said every opportunity you get is an opportunity to show what you can do.
Yep.
And if you go out there and you half-assing it, that's on you.
Yep.
You can't get mad at WWE for not booking you when you go out there and you have a shitty match every fucking time.
And she pinned Bailey, but a clean pin. And she didn't write that, and she didn't do nothing with that at all.
I'm
She
like,
had-
that thing ain't got nothing going. I mean, and I'm not trying to dog the woman. Don't take
It's
it
the
as
truth,
you
though.
dogging her. Okay? Because a lot of times, y'all ride for your favorites no matter how terrible they are.
Mm-hmm.
Now, at least with me, the people I like have some skill.
Mm-hmm.
Peyton don't even listen. If Peyton does what the Miz do, because let me put it to you this way: the Miz is not the greatest wrestler. We
Nope.
all know this. He is mediocre at best. Has he improved and gotten way better since his real dirt sheet days? 100% he has. Okay, 100%. But let me tell you something: when the Miz gets his ass out there on TV, it's not the wrestling that keeps you entertained. It's the persona.
Yep.
You want to see him go down. You either with him or you against him. And that's how it should be. If you ain't got the chops to be a good wrestler, you best believe you better be able to sell everything they give you.
Yep.
This is another one. Now, a lot of people don't like Lacey. But Lacey got her character down pat. Her character is what it is. She not gonna change it. I don't have a problem with her being the Southern Belle, bitch. Do you? If that's what gets your paycheck signed, then live your best life, baby. Okay. Lacey's character is set in stone. She is
Because the Southern Belle can be both. You know, both
Yeah.
a face or a heel. Like it works like both ways.
My question is, and that's for everybody who keeps coming at my neck about Miss Girl. I want to know how would you book her? Because we've all seen what she can do against some of the best. She's not great. So if I put her in a match with Charlotte and Charlotte is the champion, that match ain't gonna knock. But what you gonna do? You gonna blame Charlotte for the match. You gonna blame Miss Charlotte. Oh, Charlotte wasn't selling for her. Charlotte wasn't doing this. Charlotte wasn't doing that. Oh, what has she done? Give me one instance where they gave her a real chance. Every time they book you for a match on Monday Night Raw is a chance for you to prove what you are capable of. You can't tell me that that's not true.
Yep.
That's just the facts. I didn't say they gave her a push. I didn't say that. But she did have one. Miss Mamas was in the back while Billy Kay was sitting at home for 2 weeks. That was during the fucking pandemic. And they had her ass in a bully role against Ruby and Bianca, and the bitch fell flat. She couldn't say nothing on the microphone. Nothing. Then she get out there in the ring, match is sloppy. Your match work not clean. You sloppy in the ring. No. You're not going to convince me that this is all about suppressing Peyton Royce, because none of y'all had the same energy when it come to Mandy, Ruby, Liv, Natalia, Tamina. You ain't got that energy when it come to Dana.
But who said that though? Who?
There's a bunch of people on
In here?
no.
Oh.
There's a bunch of people on Instagram who are upset because they didn't like what I said about Peyton. But the reality is, I'm not speaking on Peyton as a person because I don't know her. I'm
Mm-hmm.
going by what she shows. And what she shows is that she is there and she will get booked. The match is going to be or it's going to be sloppy. You're not going to get much out of Peyton.
Yeah, no, you're not.
Now, that's a damn shame when Billy Kay is outshining you and she ain't wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm talking about. So you want to talk about people getting shine? So let's call a spade a spade. Billy and Peyton pretty much got the same booking, right? Because you only see Peyton in spots, and here lately we've only seen Billy in spots. Now, real talk, Billy been on SmackDown more than Peyton has, but it's only been for one segment at most, right? So tell me how you get booked in a match on Raw, right? You're booked in a tag team match, multiple tag team matches on Raw at that. And literally, for the first time they put Lacey together, they were out there. They was on Raw Talk. They were together on Raw Talk. They was sitting out there wrestling. At the time, Peyton was wrestling just about every week, but you didn't see Billy. Okay, then they decided, okay, we're gonna pull back on this team with Lacey. I don't think it's really hitting right with Lacey Evans and Peyton Royce. Cool.
Yeah.
So they go ahead and move forward with Billy. Billy goes out there and starts the whole resume shit. And at first you're like, what the hell this bitch think she doing with these resumes? But it got over. It's funny. And she's out there running around with the Riot Squad trying to be a part of Natalia and Tamina's team, doing everything she can to get in where she fit in. And she got her own merchandise. Got her own merch.
Mm.
Got her own t-shirt. Meanwhile, your girl Peyton been wrestling on main event and on Raw and can't get nothing. But you trying to tell me that they holding her back? When and where? You give me a time. Cause
Yep.
They ain't gave Billy but one match. One match on SmackDown. Billy ain't wrestled since she got drafted. Except when
Yep.
she was all out there. And even then she did not wrestle.
She
She ain't
barely
wrestled not once.
she barely did anything in the Rumble too.
But you worried about
So
somebody getting signed, and Peyton been wrestling since she got drafted. Peyton been wrestling since she got drafted and ain't did nothing with the spot that they gave her. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't think that Peyton's booking is immaculate and is perfect. No, it's obviously something wrong with that. But it ain't on WWE if you ask me. I'm not going to
nope.
book
Nope.
Peyton. I'm not going to book Peyton for Monday Night Raw every week either if what you give me is mediocrity and you making boneheaded ass mistakes in the ring. No, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that. Whether you love her or not, I'm not doing that. That's all I'm saying.
Period. Oh my god.
Otis don't need the push he getting if you really want to know the truth.
Yeah. I.
They should have left Otis with Tucker and
Mm-hmm.
should have left Heavy Machinery together. That was WWE's fault. That I don't put on
Yep.
Otis. Because when Otis go out there, he still performs. And that's the difference. And you talk about
I don't
Ali
get why
all
they
day.
took the Money in the Bank from him either.
They shouldn't have gave it
Honestly.
to him in the first place. You shouldn't have gave it
Right.
to him.
Well,
You could talk about
you
what
went
I'm
and
like,
spent
what
it from
about
him.
you? You think about everybody always says, well, Payne is great. Okay, so is Drew Gulak. Drew Gulak is the next Daniel Bryan, but where he at?
205 Live.
I think
Running around 205
you know what
Live.
it is.
Drew running
You
around
know,
trying to get the first ever championship.
you know what it is. I think it's because Bailey has said on many occasions, "Oh, Peyton is just like Sasha in the ring, and she just needs her shot." And people are like, "Oh, okay." So if Bailey's saying it, then it must be true. But she's not living up to that. Not in the least.
And we're gonna talk about. I'm just saying.
Not in the least.
Sasha.
So
If that's the case, then I need her to perform at that caliber when she gets in the ring. And she doesn't do that.
And she's not.
She doesn't do that. Y'all can believe in her abilities. I'm not telling you not to. I'm not saying obviously she was good enough to make it to WWE, so there's something there. But it's like watching basketball. When you watch basketball and football, there are the elite of the elite. There are players who are just simply great at what they do. And then there are those who are good. And then there are those who just know how to play basketball.
Yeah.
But they're better. But they're better than the normal people who play basketball. So there is still a hierarchy even in the elite. If you want to put WWE at the forefront, fine. Let's do that. At the forefront of wrestling is the WWE. They have their finger on the pulse of wrestling and pop culture. And yet there is still mediocrity amongst the elite. So don't make it seem like she's the next Sasha Banks, because I don't see it. Okay?
I don't see it either.
I don't see it.
Me either.
The
And
girls come
I was just like, maybe
long shot.
I was just like, maybe Bailey saw it when she was at the Performance Center. But I was like, And the thing is, the funny thing, Sasha said that too. But that was like years ago. And again, she may have saw her at the Performance Center. I was like, oh, okay. But
the only thing Peyton got going is that stiff ass leg she be doing, and that ain't hitting either.
It's not. Yeah, it's not. Yeah.
Y'all can argue with me all day in the comments. I really don't care, and y'all can call me all types of names. But at the end of the day, she's not giving what she's supposed to give, and that's just period. I can't say it no plainer than that. When you go out there and you go through that curtain and you're working, I'll put it into an even better perspective. You look at Bianca. Bianca had no prior training of wrestling before she got to PC.
None.
But Bianca is a true athlete.
But she's black, so
her and
black
Charlotte
girl
on
magic.
the same wavelength though, because
it's a black girl magic.
She went through FCW. Charlotte did. She went through the grueling aspects of wrestling for the women and for the men that was coming into WWE that didn't have the PC. They had to go through that. You feel me? When you look at Bianca and how she came in, no prior experience, picked up the skills of wrestling, able to create a character and work the microphone in a few years, and now she's a fast track in the WrestleMania, possibly your next SmackDown Women's Champion, God willing. You sitting up telling me and arguing with me about Peyton Royce, who got her beat by training by a long shot.
Training. And Peyton did the Indies too.
And Persona. And she was on the Indies. But you arguing with me. About Peyton not having an opportunity. Well, Bianca lost all of her opportunities. Every damn match that woman got, she got beat. Every one of them. No, she didn't get to be NXT champion, though she was well within her right to be.
Yes, she was.
Champion. She didn't get it. She got beat, 3 times by Shayna? Turn around, Rhea Ripley's champion before her. Rhea came into NXT USA after her. Okay? All this shit y'all talking about them. And you know damn well that there's women in there who have to grind twice as hard as she do and don't get half the shine. Bianca ain't been no tag team champion. But Peyton was. And now if you're going to get mad, then get mad at the booking. But a belt is a push. Whether you like it or not, having a belt is a push. And that's facts. Get mad at how they book her. But when I put you on the show and I tell you, look, you got a match with Charlotte Flair, you're going to be tag teaming with Lacey Evans, Charlotte's going to have Asuka. You got 2 of the best women in the company you wrestling with. You damn sure better show up and show out. But if you're going to come in there and wrestle like you tired and you don't want to be there, then bitch, I'm not going to book you for nothing. And if you mad, scratch your ass and get glad, because I don't care. It makes me mad. You ain't got no facts. You're not backing your shit up with nothing. You just coming at me because you love her. Say you love her and you want her to be on TV because you love her. Then I could be like, boo boo, you can pray and hope to God that she is on TV. I'll be right there with you. But if that hoe get on TV and she don't perform like she's supposed to, I'm going to criticize her to the ends of the earth. I do it with everybody else. No matter if you're white, black, Mexican, I don't care what you are. If your ass come out there and you ain't doing what you're supposed to do, I'm going to get in your ass. Period. That's just the way it is. Because I don't want to see you on TV failing. If I want to see that, I watch fucking AEW. That's not why I watch WWE.
Ooh, period.
Peyton wrestled like she should be on AEW. Let's be real.
Because I can tell you this. Last night, I watched Jade Cargill wrestle, and Miss Mama's got a long way to go.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. She got a long way to go. Because she did not give what she was supposed to give either.
Mm-mm.
And I was like, okay.
Letdown of I won't say the year, but letdown of the month for sure.
It wasn't good. All that build up, and then you give me this.
Yeah. They built it for so long too.
Yeah.
Like she couldn't have been having matches this whole time.
No, she didn't have any matches. She had no match. Not even one. And I thought they was going to at least let her wrestle on Dark. They didn't do it. They didn't give her any match with anybody of any kind on the show. And I thought that was a major mistake. You put her at a severe disadvantage.
And then you go ahead and pair her with Shaq, of all people.
Exactly. And now Shaq did what he was supposed to do, so I can't even be mad at him for that. Because he's not a wrestler. The point, he's not a wrestler. He's an NBA analyst and a former NBA player, so I can give him a little bit of leeway. You know what I'm saying? I can give him a little bit, because you don't even wrestle, bro. So, you did all right. But
we know this is the one-off for you.
Yeah, so I'm like, you ain't coming back to wrestle again for no titles or nothing. So, I mean, you did all right. You went through them tables like a champ. I can tell you that.
And his powerbomb was real good. I'll give him that. And his tribute to Brody.
Yeah, Cody took him out. I was like, good for you, Cody. Let him come in here and take over your shit like this. So I thought that was cool. But for the most part, Jade and Velvet were wrestling in the match, and it just. She's better than most of the roster and had no wrestling background before WWE. That is awesome. That's Bianca, yeah.
Yeah. Lana's doing better, yes. 100%.
Yeah, I have decent matches.
And Lana's been improving, and you can see her improvement, whereas Peyton, not so much.
Exactly. That's my point.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, everybody, y'all want to write love letters on fucking Instagram. Like what I'm saying is not true. I'm like, you can go back and watch the tapes, bitch. I ain't got.
Also, Peyton's had opportunities. The iconic split was engineered to put her over, and she couldn't get herself over.
Thank you.
It's the same thing that happened with Sonya and Mandy. The feud was supposed to put Mandy over, and Mandy couldn't.
Exactly, which is why Mandy got paired with Dana.
Yeah.
But if you're gonna bring up Peyton in that same breath, you could bring up Mandy. You could bring up Dana. What about Ruby and Liv? They go out there and wrestle, and they have great matches. I'm like, what you trying to say? Like,
Ruby and Liv are putting over the entire tag division at this point,
and they not getting rewarded for it. If they not getting paid for it, I'd be upset.
Mm-hmm. All they get is getting screwed out of their tag title opportunity.
Exactly.
Like, Peyton got the match against Asuka right after the Iconic split up. Peyton got on the Survivor Series team. Peyton got paired with Lacey and was in the tag matches, and she dropped the ball every time.
Thank you.
But yet Peyton stands want to come in and be like, oh well, she can do better. She can do better. Then let her show us that she can do better. Because right now she's showing that she's sloppy and that she can't hit her moves right. She tries to pull out new moves and they just look all wonky.
You ain't lying about that, because I don't know what. And when FTR left and they gave the Magic Killer to Peyton and Billy,
that was a mess.
it was brutal. And I just was like, what is this?
It wasn't even the right Magic Killer. It was like a reverse.
Yeah.
And it's just like Billy was too tall, and there was just the height wasn't there.
And he can't lift, so the girl, so that it can at least look like it's effective. I wasn't happy. I was like, no.
Yeah.
I was like, no, ma'am.
Yeah. It was it was tragic.
I'm just saying, like, I don't like when you're just coming at me with things that you feel is right, because that's how much you love your favorite. And that's cool. I don't have an issue with that.
Yeah.
You love your favorite, fine. Then lead with that. But don't lead with, well, you give me an example. I can give you plenty. Their tag team title run, no, it wasn't built for them to be dominant champions. You're not going to believe that Billy Kay and Peyton Royce are somehow dominant fucking champions.
Yeah, they didn't even win the title that way. They won the title, by tagging in Beth at the right time.
Exactly.
Like,
I'm like, that wasn't their character. No. They were the mean girls, but they were, comic relief mean girls. That's why their title run was them avoiding matches. The very same way they booked The Miz was the same way they booked the Iconics.
Exactly.
Which I didn't have a problem with that. And then you're like, that was a joke. That didn't give them an opportunity to really shine. I'm like,
it wasn't supposed to.
I'm like, they didn't have Sasha and Bayley to contend against. Sasha had left. Bayley was, a singles competitor again. So they didn't
split up a bunch of tag teams too.
Yeah, everybody got sent back to their corners. They were the only ones left. Then they put Asuka and Kairi Sane together and had that whole situation. And I'm just like, y'all trying me. That's the only way I can explain it is y'all trying me.
If you love Peyton, just say that, but don't expect everyone to love her the same level that you do.
Exactly.
And especially because I see people saying like, "Oh, Charlotte and Peyton have such good chemistry." Where is the chemistry?
No, absolutely not.
Yeah. Charlotte can't sell. Charlotte doesn't sell for anyone who isn't Naomi or Asuka. And Sasha, throw her in the mix, but that's known already. So you can't put that on Charlotte. Charlotte doesn't sell for anybody. But when Peyton tries to do all of her moves, it's just they come a very whimsical, very sloppy.
Ballerina-ish. It's even Lana's like that when they do that kick that they do when they swing their leg. I just like, it's so stiff. Yeah. What is happening? I'm like, are y'all trying to kick them or are y'all just laying down? Like, y'all just lay down. Don't even kick. Just lay down. Just make it look like. I'm like, I don't understand it. And I'm not genuinely trying to shit on Peyton, but I want people to understand that nobody just deserves an opportunity. It has to be earned. It has to be proven that you can withstand the opportunity. There are women who are there who've already proven that they are good at what they do. And I am sorry, but if you go out there and you're wrestling and you don't show and prove, then I'm out. I don't want to see that. I'm not going to sit and watch a match and then you're like, well, it was only 3 minutes. How fucking long do I need to watch you barely run the ropes? You do that punk ass swinging kick that you do, and then you're standing there and you barely can adjust to the match as it is. You don't know how to provide. No, I'm not watching that. Then you bring up Survivor Series. I'm like, okay, she did great in Survivor Series. What does that mean? If that's the only match you can think of that she did great in, that should tell your ass something.
Exactly. That wasn't her. That she's had way more matches than Bayley has, since they split up. And Peyton has squandered every single one. She did good in Survivor Series. Okay. It's one match out of how many that she's had.
They don't listen to me. And I'm a hater. I'm a hater. I don't like anybody but my favorites. And if it was my favorites, I'd be advocating for them. And I'm like, I can tell you when I'm biased. I am biased when it comes to Naomi because I want her to have her time. I am biased when it comes to Bianca because I love Bianca. Bianca reminds me of the girls that I used to hang out with when I was in school. She she she's just a very cool, down to earth girl, and they look like me. So I'm gonna be biased when it comes to those women. I'm biased when it comes to Ruby because I feel like Ruby is your ultimate heel champion, and you're wasting her.
Mm-hmm. That
You're,
whole losing streak that they put her on was not
yeah,
the move. Brought her back for what? For her to lose? A talent like Ruby, she came back after being gone for like a whole pregnancy. At 9 months, she was gone, and you brought her back just to lose every single match she ever had. Like she didn't start winning. Like when did she start winning matches? It was before. It was like yeah, I think it was like right when her and Liv came back together.
Her and Bianca were together tag teaming on Raw, and she beat Peyton in them.
Yeah.
And that's when things started to change. And then after that, Liv got with her because Billy came back, and Peyton and Billy started attacking Liv and Ruby. And then they had that match. Shortly after that, they had that match where they had to split up the team if they lost, and Peyton and Billy lost.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what happened. So I was like, well, you know what? They split up Liv and Ruby. They can send Ruby to SmackDown, leave Liv on Raw, and you'll have some superstars at least being able to compete. But they didn't do that. They split up Peyton and Billy, and I was like, okay, well, everybody say Peyton is the standout, so let's see. And she been
blending in real good.
Okay. I said, okay, ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you call a standout. Then be my guest.
Stand out like a sore thumb.
Ooh, child.
Yeah, now Ruby and Liv are on SmackDown, and it's like they're getting the same treatment. They're just losing.
And I mean against everybody. Mm-hmm. They're using them to build Tamina and Natalya. And don't get me wrong, I'm glad Tamina's getting some traction. I'm okay with Natalya switching up the game a little bit, but at the same time, Ruby and Liv have been working at being a tag team for years before a tag team title was even introduced. Riot Squad was there. So it's not fair to them. Now, if you riding for Ruby and Liv, I got you all day because they do deserve an opportunity. Because when they go out there and wrestle, they perform.
They show up and they show out every time.
So I don't have no issues with that. When you come at me with bullshit about Peyton, and the only example you got is Survivor Series, bitch, your argument has not been made, and you need to exit stage left. That's how I feel about that. I guess Tirza had to leave.
Yeah, she left quite a bit ago.
Yeah, I thought she would pop back in, but she probably got a man. So her man probably called or something. They need to go to NXT or find Eddie Jim so she can get trained and have skills. I don't think she doesn't have skill, but she's just not up to par when she gets in that ring.
Yeah.
She obviously has skill or she wouldn't be there.
Yeah.
So that part I'm not negating. I'm not saying she don't have any skill, but it is not improving in the ring, and she's looking like a slouch up against these other superstars. Even in Lacey. Lacey ain't the greatest wrestler, and she's been fucking up a lot lately.
Mm-hmm.
But Lacey still has a better ring presence than Peyton does, and she got paired with the girl to help her out, and it's still not working. So
Peyton showed promise very early on, but she's just fell flat. Like, because I mean, that's why a lot of people hold her to. They hold her to her NXT days. Like, NXT is engineered for success. And she did show a decent amount of potential and promise, but once she hit the main roster, it just kind of fell away.
And that's what a lot of people equate to the NXT curse. And I'm like, no, I beg to differ.
Because you can make it work if you try. Billy can make it work. But she's got the character and the charisma to pull through. Peyton
I'm like,
doesn't.
well, how come that it only applies to certain people? Because I'm like, Big E came from NXT. Roman, Dean, Seth, they all came from NXT. Daniel came from the early days of NXT.
FCW.
Early.
Mm-hmm.
when it was still a reality show early.
Oh, ooh, I forget about that reality show. It's a whole
Wade
fever
Barrett
dream.
came from those days. Slater, like all them dudes came from FCW, and then they moved into this reality show format. And then Triple H was like, "No, I think we need to switch this around into a real wrestling show. Maybe this will have a better traction." And it did.
Mm-hmm.
Turned into a whole conglomerate. And you come out of NXT. You and Billy have always been together, and I think that was the problem. Billy was your crutch. You thought that everything was going to stay with y'all being together, and WWE threw you a curveball, and that's where you messed up at.
Mm-hmm. She
'Cause
couldn't adapt.
you couldn't survive without her, and that it shows very, very readily. It's just all in your face. How you walk, how you act, it just shows.
Mm-hmm.
So I could be the big bad villain on this one, but I stand by what I say.
No, I agree. Like I said, like the whole iconic split was geared for Peyton to get over. That's why, like immediately afterwards, she got a match with Asuka.
Yeah.
Immediately after, because she was the one who got on the Survivor Series team. Like she had the matches, but once you take her away from Billy, all the flaws come out. She's got no character. She's got no charisma. Her mic skills are completely abysmal, and her wrestling can't make up for it. Like Billy's not a great wrestler either. Billy's very mediocre, but she's got the character that can compensate for her lack of ability.
Exactly.
Peyton doesn't have that same luxury, so she's gonna flounder. She's not gonna do well.
Just like
and
that.
then they paired her with Lacey.
That's to help her character so she could possibly get over, but that didn't work either.
Mm-mm.
So now what am I supposed to do? But then you say, oh, but the very same people who are complaining were the ones who were like, oh, I miss Charlotte. Charlotte hasn't been around in a while. Charlotte's only been back for a couple months.
Mm-hmm.
It hasn't been a year. It hasn't been 6 months. It's literally been a couple of months. She came back after Survivor Series, not before. It was after.
Mm-hmm.
She got there. She did show up, and she didn't even show up after that. She showed up at TLC.
Mm-hmm. And won a title on her
towards
return.
the end of the month, got the title, and she's only been there for 3 months. 3 full months.
Hello? Oh. Oh, Jeff left. So I'm assuming Tiff got disconnected. I don't know what to do. I don't think it's right for me to host this show, you guys. I'm gonna just wait and see if Tiff comes back.
It kicked me out. Why did it kick me out of my own stuff?
Oh, she's back, you guys.
It kicked me out.
I know. I heard you cut out, and I heard nothing, and I was like, "Is everything all right?" I thought something was wrong on my end, and then you disappeared, and I was like, "Oh no, she got kicked." I was like, "Did she get disconnected?"
It was my internet and it kicked me out.
Man.
I was like, how you gonna kick me out of my shit? It's mine. I set it up. You're just gonna kick me out.
Aaliyah said, "It's so quiet you can hear Peyton fans dropping like flies."
I cannot. Everyone on this Thursday. It feels like a Saturday, but it's okay.
It really does. I got to tune into NXT UK for the first time in forever, just for the Mako Kaylee Ray match.
I wanted to see it, and I hear
It was
it was
good. It was
And Kaylee
good.
Ray retained, and I was like, oh, I knew she was gonna do it.
Yeah, I love my girl Kaylee, but I'm ready for her to drop that title.
A lot of people are. I think eventually she will.
Because
I
like
don't know
if
who the
Mako
next
can't
challenger
take
is.
it from you, who can?
I
At
don't
this
know. It's
point.
probably gonna be somebody you never expect.
They're gonna switch us, and it's gonna be Isla Dawn.
Oh God.
I love my girl Isla, but
Well, maybe. I mean, I don't know. All them girls in UK are pretty good.
yeah, they're hard hitters. Like their matches
Yeah,
be,
so
they look like
I
they
wouldn't
hurt.
be. Yeah, so I wouldn't be too mad about that. I just started watching WandaVision actually, and I was so enthralled with that show. I was like on episode
Oh,
5,
I
and I
forgot
was like,
about Aoife Valkyrie. Yeah, she's most likely gonna be the one then.
oh, oh, she's coming. Okay. Well, I was watching WandaVision today, and I was just like, oh shit, this show is ridiculous. It's very,
Mm-hmm.
very odd, but once you get into it, it's like, damn, what is going on?
Mm-hmm. I've been following it along as it's been released, and I'm just like, ooh.
Oh, that poor Scarlett. She's just been going through it.
Mm-hmm.
I got the whole town talk caught up, and I don't know. I'm like, well, she's not doing it. Somebody got to be doing something. I haven't figured it out yet, but I gotta go upstairs and finish watching it. Hello, Marquise. Oh, he got you in your feelings.
Ooh.
Yeah, we was in here talking about Peyton Royce, but I'm pretty sure when everybody hear it, they're gonna think we hating on the girl.
They're gonna crucify us on the
That's
cross
okay,
of
'cause
iconics.
I'm gonna go on after I post this. I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna screen record it, and I'm gonna post it on my Instagram. And that's really gonna get people mad.
Mm-hmm. They're gonna come at you. They're gonna be like, "Why are you talking about my girl again?"
I don't care. It's the truth.
It is. They just don't want to hear it.
Maj coming in.
Oh, she's not so disappointed.
I am not disappointed, fool.
The way you said it, Maj coming in. I'm like, yeah.
Oh, here we go again.
Like, did I hurt you?
No, jerk. It's so stupid. I didn't even do nothing. I've been good all day. I didn't do anything to anybody.
Like, damn.
Except for maybe Peyton. They might think, I was talking about Peyton, but I didn't do nothing else. I've been pretty quiet.
Oh God. Oh, you've been watching WandaVision. Yay. Oh my God.
I watched it today actually. I watched the first 5 episodes and then I had to go out. So I couldn't finish watching it. And I was watching it, I'm like, damn, like it's a whole alternate reality and people getting sucked in, turning guns on people. She done had full babies. It's like, what the hell is going on
That
here?
episode tripped me out. The baby episode.
Yeah.
I was like, she growing. She growing.
Yeah, like every time he turned around, she pregnant even more. And I'm like, whoa, Nelly, what is this? That is not how babies are born. That's not it. Then them little kids just grow up when they want to do something. I'm like, wait a minute. Now we had powers like that. How come that didn't work with us? I want to grow up and go back to being 10. Sure do. Ain't had no rules. No, I ain't have to pay nothing. Everything came from my parents. I'm like, yes. Living my best life. Ew, what is that? Gross.
They had a live stream the company before this one came up on my feed. I was feeling everything. Oh, okay.
Yes, Jalen, Wanda is that girl. Very much indeed.
But they said a new episode was to drop tonight.
Yeah.
It's supposed to.
It'll drop around like 2 or 3 a.m.
Yeah, it'll be early in the morning.
Well, I ain't got. Well, I'm off, so I could watch. I could watch it.
I'm
I
gonna
never
watch
watch
it,
them
but I
when they
gotta finish
drop. I
watching
wait
the
till the
other
morning.
ones. I gotta finish watching the other ones. But it's a good show. I can't wait for Loki's show either. I think that show gonna be good too.
Mm-hmm.
So what did you do, Marquise? What did you do today?
Woke up, went food shopping, and then went to Walmart.
Did you get that place or did they not call you back?
You didn't see the email? That was from the place. It was a glitch. Huh?
They were just like it was an error, so no.
Yeah, it was an error. Like you wasn't supposed to get picked, so you're not getting it. But you can still
I'm not
keep
gonna
applying.
just like okay, stand by because you got picked. Like you can argue. I go to court. Fuck it. You picked me. That's what they say. It say you picked me. Don't do me. Like going to sleep.
Right now.
Even when I take my purse up there and my cord to my phone because I have to climb the stairs to come upstairs today. Yeah. Okay, y'all. So I have to go to bed. So I probably will go live tomorrow after SmackDown. Yeah, I'll do that. I'll go live after SmackDown. I only went live because Tirza asked me to today. So I got done talking to her and then I talked to So What a little bit. And I talked to Maj. But I'll talk to Maj in the group chat.
It's my first time joining in a live.
Yay! So I'll go live tomorrow and I will talk to you guys then. You can always come back in tomorrow if you want.